Hi everyone, welcome to ACADS. So in this video we are going to share three most important tips for mains 2021. These are the tips that you need to remember before appearing in mains, and these are very important last minute tips. So first of all, number one thing that you need to remember is prioritization. What do what do you mean by this? Always remember what is your priority. In each GS paper, number one priority is to attempt all GS questions. This is number one priority. Number two priority is you should attempt all the subparts. So this is the most crucial thing. If you can just ensure this, I can guarantee you will be scoring above average marks in GS. What do I mean by mandatory subparts? So in each 10 marker there are going to be 2.5 subparts. At the times it might be explicit, directly आपको visible होंगे. At other times directly visible नहीं होंगे. In that case you need to come up with at least 2.5 parts in 10 marker and 3.5 parts for 15 markers. So how it can be hidden, that you need to know. So suppose if it is about discuss, this is about comment, this is about critically analyze. Here you need to give both positive as well as negative side. So that's how they hide the subparts. And generally on an average in our experience, I have evaluated over 500 to 600 copies. Not fully, like looking at the questions. Every person is leaving at least 5 to 6 subparts per question paper. So that shows the importance of this thing. Mandatory subparts is very important to address. काफी सारे लोग इसको लीव करेंगे. No matter how hard you try, there will be a miss of at least 1 2 subparts. That's fine, but do not let it go up to 7 to 8 subparts per paper, and ये काफी easily हो जाता है. So if you are leaving around 4 to 5 subparts on average, that means around 25 marks. Even if you are scoring 50% marks, 12 marks into 4, 48. So that's the amount of marks that you will be losing if you are not attempting all subparts. So if I can give you just one tip, then this is going to be about attempting all mandatory subparts. Please do not forget this tip. Exam mein, sometimes you are in flow, you forget this tip, but please remember, if you can remember this tip, this is my personal guarantee, you will score above average marks and you will thank us later. Third is content. In case of content, you need not worry at all. Whatever you have studied, the templates you have, 3D 4C technique you have mnemonics for almost every paper of UPSC, you have diagrams, you have data, you have committees, you have case studies, you have everything. So never worry about the content, but the thing is, the initial thing that you need to do is to produce subparts using the LEGO method. Just ensure that. Rest everything else will fall into place by itself. So that's why LEGO method is very important. LEGO method is not a technique, but it's a mindset, it's the framework that you need to get into before exam. Number 4 is invented subparts. So content important hai, uske baad like sub intro and conclusion, these are the things, these are the invented subparts and not explicitly mentioned. If you are writing it, then it's very good. Even if you are compromising on this, at a times in last few questions, you might have to compromise on these things, that's fine. And then anything else if time permits, जो नहीं होने वाला है. So you will be at max going to step 4 and generally step 3 पर ही आपका conclusion हो जाएगा. So this is the number 0 tip that you need to keep in mind. Second thing is about leverage replicability and inheritability. Replicability and inheritability in the sense कि most of the things are common to most of the questions. So suppose if it's about GS2 governance, TP career is one mnemonic that you can leverage throughout the governance papers in GS2 as well as GS4. So this is replicability. Similarly in GS3, most of the questions it will be related to double B triple C time per. Okay. In GS1, Heights framework is very important for the society. This is from the society part, globalization. Please watch it if you haven't gone through it. Also remember the CRR college for culture and diversity. In case you are finding difficult to generate point, directly leverage this CRR college, Moviesy, Heights, and in Heights you can further, in case of E, I can use AEIOU and so on. So the thing is, it has been repeated so many times. I am sure you must have internalized all these things, and this is very important to generate points in the exam. In society, 7 or 8 questions, try to do it as soon as possible. Use the framework of Heights, CRR college or E-shape and all these framework and complete it as soon as possible. IR question, if it's country specific, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, we have given points for culture, strategy, economy and everything mnemonics. These are the points that you can easily use and customize it a little bit to suit the demand of the question. In GS2 institutions, movers say ki food, please revise it as many times as possible. Along with this, revise challenges and suggestions. In case of GS4, ditch RAS girlfriend is very important and heat cell ABC. Why I'm not explaining all these things? Because you have already gone through this in each and every lecture. I am trying to emphasize the same things again and again. Also GS2 में the another important is Seva Mega. ये GS4 में भी overlap करेगा. Second important thing is about inheritability. So what is inheritability? Suppose there is a question about the negatives of FDI in defense sector, for example. So think about the bigger pictures, negatives and positives of FDI. Like positives क्या है? TTT, tech, technology, trade. So then modify it to suit the demand of the question, that is defense. If there is a question about the PPP in aviation sector, leave aside aviation sector for some time. Think about positives and negatives of PPP, private public partnership, and then customize it for the demand of the question, that is aviation. Similarly, inclusive growth, similarly, disaster management suggestions are going to be same. Just remember Sendai framework, structural suggestions, non-structural suggestions. Just remember one diagram of disaster management, IR3, MP3. So that's how fast you should be generating points in the exam. Then only you will be having sufficient time for new questions also. Okay, so that is leverage replicability, like use all these mnemonics multiple times. Inheritability, थोड़ा बड़ा व्यू में जाकर सोचेंगे, थोड़ा ऊपर जाकर सोचेंगे. FDI इन समथिंग है तो FDI की पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव सोचेंगे. डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट है तो डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट के पॉइंट सोचेंगे, एंड देन वी विल कस्टमाइज इट एज पर द डिमांड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. Number 3 is running time management technique. This is very important. What is this? So when you go into exam, you have a fixed mindset. Like around 10.5 minutes में I will be solving 15 marker, and in around 7.5 minutes 10 marker के लिए. Okay, whatever you are comfortable with. I generally use 11 and 7 minutes. Okay, but this is the ideal scenario जो नहीं होने वाला है. In last 60 minutes it is not possible, or there is very less probability कि आपका ideal time बचा होगा. In that case you need to recalibrate time allocation. Recalibrate in the sense, suppose you have six question of 15 markers, right? That means each 15 marker question will be given 16 by 6 is equal to 10 minutes. So please change the earlier mindset कि मुझे 11 minutes में करना है. Because if you start giving 11 minutes, कई बार वो 12 होगा and last तक जाते थे 5-6 minutes में, you will be attempting one whole 15 marker. Do not do that. Instead try to make it 9.5 so that कि last में जो भी है equally distribute हो जाए हर question में. This is very important. When you are left with 60 minutes, recalibrate the time availability. कि suppose last के 60 minutes में 10 marker बच गए, which is highly impossible. That means कि आपको 6 minutes में एक question करने हैं. Do not go with the earlier mindset कि 7-8 minutes में ही होगा. इससे आपके last के 2-3 questions छूट जाएंगे. And if you remember prioritization, number one rule is to not leave any question blank or any subpart. Another thing related to this is practice writing 10 marker in 6 minutes or 5 minutes actually, and 11 markers in 8 minutes. Practice it. So how this will help? You will realize that in 60% of time, that is suppose 11 marker के लिए suppose आपके 11 है तो 11 का 6 हो गया around 7 minutes. In 7 minutes you can secure 90% of the marks. So graph is something like this. Again, law of diminishing marginal utility. This is 60% of the time. Here you will be gaining 90% of the marks. So try to learn this technique, like how to address all the subparts and everything in first 8 minutes itself for 15 marker and 6 minutes for 10 marker. क्योंकि कितना ही आप परफेक्ट लिखने की कोशिश करें, there is very high probability कि this situation will arise. So please try to practice this thing also, and please try to remember all the mnemonics for each and every section, especially the one which has the property of replicability and inheritability. Also, in case you have any questions, you are panicking, you are finding it difficult to cope up with the pressure, COVID situation is there, we understand it might be difficult. You have mentorship scheduling link on your Mac course. Please go through it and schedule a call. In case it's not available, you can directly mail us, you can WhatsApp us. This is not the time to panic, this is not the time to waste, this is time to prepare yourself to enjoy the mains. You have worked hard, you have cleared prelims, so this should be the time when you should be focusing on mains. Focus on enjoying mains. You know every question, so do not think a question is going to be something new or things like that. The good thing in mains is no matter what the question is, you will be able to write something. So it's up to you how you are using the content you have to address the question. So do not worry about the step ki, do I know this question or do I not know this question? Instead, directly start focusing on how what I should be writing in this question. So mains is going to be very enjoyable. Prepare for this. Please enjoy. And in case of any questions, any queries, any problem, feel free to reach to us. Thank you.